Welcome to this topical video. In this episode I want to take a look at the missions for 11th edition, potentially what they could be, and in my opinion what they should be, as we look forward to a new edition of Warhammer 40,000. So before we get stuck in, very briefly, our sponsors. The backdrop we're using for this video is the battle mat, the Imperial Refinery from gamemat.eu, also their industrial terrain set, link for them in the video description below. You'll see some discount codes that you can use on their website as well. For all things Warhammer 40,000 and beyond, it's gamingfigures.com, link for them below, and for painting commissions it's RW Studios. Again, I'll leave a link for them in the video description below. So as we prepare to say goodbye to 10th edition, in my overall opinion it was like an okay edition. It was alright. I wouldn't say it wasn't bad. It had some annoying aspects to it, like the constant updates for points and rules and core rules and factions and data sheets and attachments. Just too much, too often was a sport things, I think, for the 10th edition. 11th edition, I can't see if Games Workshop are going to stop doing it, but we'll see what happens. As for missions, I'm going to go through the deck and discuss what I would love to see happen for 11th edition. And with this video, it's discussional, so I'd love to hear comments in the comments section below. And Games Workshop, I'm sure they do their like market research, where you research what people want. So they may well be reading comments on different YouTube videos and so on. I'm trying to build a vibe from within the community, because at the end of the day, they're trying to design a game that people will buy and enjoy within their community. So first thing I want to point out, and this is just like a visual thing that I would change, is all these symbols on the back. Just really annoying. Why don't they just label them what they are? Missions, twists, deployment zones. So they're easy to find when you pull the deck out of the box. That's just a very small thing, but I think it's pointless having these symbols on here. I still have to check what that symbol means when I'm trying to pull the deck out, put them in the different layers ready to randomly draw from the deck. So that's a small thing they could do. I'm always in favour of keeping things straightforward. You're playing a game of Warhammer 40,000 where there's loads of factions, loads of rules to try and remember, and so other things, there shouldn't be needless complications or making things more difficult when there already is so much to remember in the game. So something that like this is pointless. Just put the actual names on the backs of the cards. I'm being a little bit, it's like constructive criticism, but the idea is that it opens up the discussion for these things. I'm going to split these out into their different piles here. So first, I don't want to spend too long on this video, just to give you an overview. So the idea of doing incursion missions, like more themed games and asymmetric war, that's fine. If they want to do that, don't really have a problem with that, so that's fine. Inside the deck, they also give you 6 of the objective counters. It's very handy to have those. You've got those straight away. You can start playing missions, don't have to go looking around for objective markers, trying to source them from somewhere else. You've got them in the card deck. Very clever idea, no problem. It's a very useful table of contents as well. See, look, they're telling you what the symbols mean. Deployment deck, what's the point? Just cut that out and just put what it is on the back of the card. Unless there's a reason for it, but you can let us know what you think in the comments section below. It goes through how to play the mission, explains what all the things mean. There's some rules in there as well. That's great, really good idea. So all of this, totally fine. If it were me, if I were able to have a choice and control the production of the game, I would dump challenger cards. Let us know what you think, but I would just get rid of them. Secondaries will come to in just a moment. You usually get like a set each, and they're all the same. So there's a red set, and there's a green set, and they're not labelled, which is annoying. Should be just secondaries player 1, secondaries player 2. Then you've got your primary mission, the main themed mission for your game. I do like how that they gave you a good view for this mission deck, which is good news. So that's fine. Next up is the twists. I don't know if it's controversial to say or not. I would dump them. Get rid of them. Take those out of it as well. For deployment zones, you get 6 as standard. I would have more. At least 2 more. Perhaps 4 more. With missions, you get 10. Which is great. I would certainly add a couple more deployment zones. Nothing extreme. but just bring in some ones that have been used before. Some sort of safe ones, sensible ones, but I would at least have another 2 deployment zones. You're going to get tons of variety there. When you've got 10 missions and they can be randomized. You're randomizing deployment zone. You're going to get tons of variety. So I would add in 2 or 4 more deployment zones. So currently the way it works is you get your primary mission. You learn that, or you figure out what that is at the start of the game. That's your main mission throughout the battle from turns 1 to 5. And then each turn you're drawing secondaries. These of secondary importance mini missions that you can do throughout the battle. And it's a randomized card deck. So you usually draw 2. And it's defend stronghold. I think that can come. You have to swap that out on turn 1. Bring it down, destroy like something big like a monster or vehicle. So little extra things that you can do. As I have mixed opinions about the card decks. It's okay. I like the idea personally of the overall mission being the primary focus, and so you figure out this at the start of the game, and then that becomes your overall game plan that you try and stick to. What I want to do now is show you by way of comparison. I've got the Bolt Action rulebook here. This is 3rd edition of Bolt Action. I'm just going to go to the mission section. We're talking about the overall game plan, or the overall mission in a game. So when you play a battle scenario, which is just standard missions, there's 6, you just randomize them, a bit like the cards. For deployment zones, the missions are like Seek and Destroy, Breakthrough, different styled missions. The deployment zones is actually only 2. Table Quarters, which you'll recognise from 40k, and then long edges across here, which again you'll recognise from Warhammer 40,000. It's just the 2, but you still get plenty of variety with these missions. There is no secondaries, so your aim, and this is why I do like the missions of Bolt Action. You have your mission, and then you try and stick to it and try and win the game. Secondaries in 40k are like, you're constantly having to adjust your game plan, and they sort of interrupt the overall theme of the game. So, say you're on the first turn of the game, you say, right, this is my missions, I'm going to try and move out and grab these no man's land objectives. It's quite straightforward. But then your secondaries come up, and then it says, oh, you need to get a model over, a unit over in a corner somewhere. They need to go and sabotage a building. And so it's all these like mini missions that randomly come up throughout the game. So it's okay. I don't think it's as strong as a theme as just having a mission and a themed mission throughout the game. For Bolt Action, you still get a really good spread of play around the table, just the nature of the missions that they play. I don't want to get too into the different types and so on, go through them in detail, but you still get a good spread of play across the board. You get tons of variety and still very gripping and interesting throughout the entire game without having to keep drawing all these secondaries that come up. So I have very mixed opinions about secondaries in Warhammer 40,000. Perhaps something better, in my opinion, would be, instead of the random draw, have fixed, which is an option in Warhammer 40,000. You have fixed secondaries. You pick 2, say it's destroying enemy monsters and vehicles, and then you use that in your games. But at the moment, most people are picking the random draw. We do for all of our games. I think there's more of a reward if you go down that route for the random draw. Occasionally I've seen people use fixed, but if it was the only option, then people would have to pick fixed secondaries, and I think that'd be better. In previous editions, they had them where there was standardized extra opportunity for picking up points. First Blood was one. You caused the first unit to be destroyed in the game. Bit of an advantage though for you if you went turn 1. If you had first turn, slay the warlord, kill the enemy warlord. Great theme for a game. And you could add in others, and you could have them either randomized or selective, as opposed to constant randomization from one turn to the next. Because I find that when I'm playing 40k, every turn I'm having to come up with a new game plan to try and pick up the points for secondaries, because there is real good points available. 4 points, 5 points coming through, 3 points. That's a hefty amount of points. It's not a small thing, and you really have to keep adjusting to secondaries throughout the battle. And I find it just sort of disrupts. You have to keep more thinking what to do, more planning constantly from one turn to the next. Whereas a nice linear mission that's the same from start to finish, you really can focus on a game plan and then obviously adjust it during the battle, which so often happens as things go wrong, don't go according to plan. Then you have to adjust your overall game plan as you go along, but it's still based on the same mission running throughout the battle. So let us know what you think on that one. I'd love to hear, especially what people think about the use of secondaries, and what will Games Workshop do? Will they keep the same idea running? My prediction is for 11th edition, as per usual, changes will be quite sweeping and big, and it's going to affect everything from all the core rules, factions, the way the game operates, and it's going to come down to missions as well. Surely there's going to be big changes coming through. So I'm not sure what Games Workshop will do, but I'm hoping there is an improvement with this. It's too bloated, too much stuff going on. There's a loss of focus for the primary mission, and you have to keep jumping around the board and trying to fulfill these secondaries. And you can't ignore them, otherwise you'll lose the game. So I just find it's disruptive where you have to keep adjusting throughout the battle away from your primary mission. Having said all of that, one of the strengths of 10th edition, and I hope this is retained, and that is where the way primary objective markers are spread around the table. They're always spread. There's usually one in the middle, one in each deployment zone, and then maybe usually two more in no man's land. I found that in 10th edition that forces the spread of play. It's one of the downsides to previous editions of 40k, where often we had games where all the action took part in just one table quarter, where one army was castled up and the attacking army just piled in and tried to get them. That wasn't very good. 10th edition, a major strength of it with the missions is the spread of play. There's fights and mini fights for objectives all around the table. That's a really good thing for 10th edition, a real good strong point, and I hope that part of it, that strength is kept as we go into 11th edition. You can easily theme the missions. You could have a game where it is defend your home objective, and then much bigger rewards if you gain one or two objectives in no man's land, so that will force the spread of play. You could play a mission where it's gain one or two objectives in no man's land, but really big rewards if you're able to capture and hold the opponent's objective, again to force the spread of play and to force armies to move out and be aggressive. Because again, another good thing about 10th edition, the way that the missions work is it stops armies from castling up in corners, such as Space Marines would do it a fair bit, especially armies like the Tau, for example, would have done it where they just castle up, blow everyone off the board and win the game. They cannot do that in 10th edition. They have to play aggressively, and that was a real strength of 10th edition, so I really like that. The spread of play around the board, and so primary missions would need to continue to encourage that. However, Games Workshop want to do that. The current missions are okay, and again, I'd keep them as simple as possible. Certainly wouldn't complicate these. Try and keep them as straightforward as possible. So my deck would look something like, keeping all of this stuff, things we talked about at the start, then keeping your primary missions, keeping your deployment zones, adding in a few extra cards for extra deployment zones, and secondaries. Instead of having two separate decks of secondaries, I'd have like 8 or 10 fixed secondaries, Slay the Wall of First Blood, whatever it is, and add those in as well. So my deck would look something like that, as opposed to that. So almost half the size, but still I think keeping plenty of variety. Simplified, nice straightforward, more linear missions, with secondaries just as a complement to the main mission, instead of just breaking up play and having to readjust from one turn to the next. So I hope I've explained that well enough. How would you change missions for 11th edition? Love to hear what you think in the comment section below. Do you agree with the changes that I've proposed, or disagree? Perhaps you're a major fan of the missions for 10th edition. Let us know what you think, or maybe they're one of the most irritating things that came out for 10th edition. You can let us know what you think in the comments section below. If you want bonus content, join us on channel membership. You can support us through Patreon as well. If you enjoy this series, you want to see more, perhaps some more theoretical 11th edition videos before it comes out, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Tune in next time.